Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Today I've got Caspar Fownes, my younger brother, and I just wanted to chat with him for the next half an hour or so and let you into his life and what he's been up to from a little boy to what he's doing today. So welcome to the show. Hi Cass.
Hi sis, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you after, 6 years?
It's always nice to see you.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. I know you're really busy.
Yeah, it's good.
So, so tell me a little bit about when you were young. I mean, we've got our own stories, but we won't share that with everyone because they're a little bit crazy. But tell me about when you first really knew that you wanted to get into horse racing, when you knew that this was it for you.
Oh, from a very young age, Fen. Obviously growing up in India was great, and had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with Dad at the stables when you're young, even though you got school and stuff, but we'd always get there of an afternoon and stuff, and it was nice. I just took to horses from a young age and felt it was something I could pursue,
That's amazing. Yeah, you were always with Dad. You were always around the horses.
Yeah.
And, you obviously went to boarding school there, which kind of kept you away from them for a little while.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
Dad came here. We moved here when you were, what, 13, I think?
Correct, 13.
You came when you were 13. And tell me a bit about that. Like, how did you transition with the school and obviously, with the horses and the jockey club? And
yeah, I mean, prior to coming in here, I was in boarding school, and then Dad got the job up in Hong Kong, so they took me out of boarding school. I started up in Hong Kong at KG5 for a few years, and it was good. Tough transition into an environment from where we came straight into Hong Kong. It was a big city, and we were so laid back where we were. So it was a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah.
But when you're young, you can take to things pretty quick,
For sure.
But no, it was a great experience, and I think Dad had a winning move coming here at that age for us.
I think so too. I think it was good for us as kids. I mean, I was 16 at the time. And I think that was, as much as we were in awe of Hong Kong and everything, I mean, it was huge, emotionally, the transition is big. And also in India, I mean, we lived a simple life, a very uncomplicated life. So I think for us, it was a big move. Tell me a bit about because you mentioned KG5, so I'm going to jump a little bit. Tell me a bit about meeting Alex.
Alex, the love of my life. I met, as soon as we moved into the complex, they were already here.
Yeah.
So, she's, I won't give her age away,
no,
but she's way younger than me. But I mean, caught my eye from day one. And
she went to the same school as you?
Went to the same school as me, and it was incredible. I mean, the odds of meeting the love of your life, seriously, in a place like this, in the same apartment building.
And so young.
And so young was is a godsend.
That's amazing.
She's changed my life, and she's absolutely the power behind me.
That's amazing.
She's everything. She's a great mum. She's a great wife, and it's.
And it's been 24
28 years, yeah.
But 24 years married, though, isn't it?
No, 28, 95.
28, wow.
Yeah,
Jeez,
95, time flies, yeah.
So you have 3 boys.
3 boys. Ryan's our eldest, he's 25.
Yeah.
Ronan's 22. And Riley, who's the tallest, is 14.
That's amazing.
Which is great. 3 great young men. We're proud of them. And
tell me a bit about each. Tell me a bit about Ryan first. I mean, I think he's also in racing, but from a different.
Yeah, he's doing sort of in the bloodstock side of it, looking at trials and stuff and trying to purchase some horses for the stable, which is good.
Mostly from Australia or
mostly
globally?
From Australia, a few from New Zealand. So that's working out well.
Nice.
Which is good. The clients are behind that, and it's something that we're looking forward to long term.
Nice.
Ronan's with me in the stable. I think he's very keen to be a trainer. He's got what it takes. He's got a very good eye from a young age.
And he's got a good attitude for it too.
He's got a great attitude. He's a great kid, and I think he's got a very good future in this game going forward. So we still got to build him. He's a long way off, but we will certainly mold him into something special. And
got a good tutor.
Well, Dad taught me well, and
did.
God willing, I'll pass that on and even more. And the younger generation, they're a lot sharper than us now.
Yeah.
The times are different.
Very different.
They're very tech savvy, and they're very up with the latest technology and all the latest stuff that's going on. So they got yards on us going forward. So if we just give them the the right grounding.
Grounding, exactly.
He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the little guy, Riley?
Well, he's no little guy. He's the tallest now. He's 14. You know, he's in boarding school in Melbourne. I miss him a lot, but it was a great move to send him there. He's very happy.
He has some of his friends from here that moved, right? Didn't they?
Quite a few friends moved out of Hong Kong once COVID came, you know, and that's pretty much was the reason he moved, because, you know, schools were closed here and there was nothing going forward. You know, it was pretty tough. And when sort of half his class left, you know, he got a bit sour on it, you know, which is understandable at that age.
Absolutely.
So he come to us and said, look, I want to go to boarding school. We said, yeah, sure. So we're lucky enough to get him into a really good boarding school in Scotch in Melbourne. And he's very happy. He's doing well. And it's great. Like, Australia's great for kids as well, you know. It's such a great sporting nation.
It is.
And it gets them channeled in the right way, which is good for him, you know. And of course, I'm sure he'll come back to Hong Kong later on. And he still comes back through his holidays, which is good.
That's good. Is there anything he's really interested in, as in terms of either sport, or is he also into horse racing, or not as much?
No, he's not into racing. He's definitely into, you know, he's doing rowing, and
That's fantastic.
yeah, he's doing a bit of rugby, which is good. You know, so he's into sport over there, and I think he'll, as he gets stronger and toughens up even further, he'll pick up something else. So I wouldn't want to take him on in a boxing fight. I know that he is as strong as.
He is. I bet both you. I mean, Ronan's pretty.
Yeah.
He's pretty tough too.
Yeah.
I mean, you were really
gentle boy.
sporty as well growing up. I mean, you were into. I mean, you still
wouldn't
play
think
golf.
so, looking at this physique.
Oh,
but,
please! That's holiday physique.
Yeah,
That's holiday
exactly. It's
physique.
about 10 pounds of body weight on a 2.5, 3 week holiday, which is good. A good way to let down and put the kilos on. But we'll get it off in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So golf is your thing. It's your sport. I mean, you're very good at it. I mean, I think you downplay the fact that you are actually a pretty good golfer and played a lot when you were growing up.
I was pretty good growing up, and then, you know, it's like anything. You know, I've got the worst swing, but it's very effective. And, you know, then I lost it for a little bit, and you just get sick of it because you play so bad, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? And,
I know.
And then COVID came up, and then luckily we were allowed to go out there, and it picked up my mojo again, and I've really enjoyed it since then, and I'm back, and I play twice a week, you know, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and
that's nice.
Really look forward to it.
Is that like a de-stress for you? Because it is a pretty stressful environment here, with, you know, with the stresses of racing and horses and.
No, definitely something I look forward to every week. You know, it's with my close friends. It's a good laugh. And, you know, we get to have a good chat and a good play and have a couple of drinks after, so it's a nice letdown.
That's nice.
It just takes the edge off things.
And then you connect with people too, which is so important, especially after COVID, right?
Yeah. It's nice to get back to normal living, you know, which is, who would have thought they could take what we, how could they take that much away from us is just beyond,
absolutely.
But quite sad, really.
They did, and here we are, though. We've soldiered on and moved through it. And,
lost a couple of good years of our lives, which we'll never get back, but anyway.
No, we won't, and
let's
hope it stays at bay.
You've become grey in that time, and I've...
I was grey before COVID, okay? I was grey before COVID. Don't you dare bring that up.
Yeah.
Also, when I worked for you at the time, thank you.
Yeah.
We hit a real lull at one period. How do you deal on a day-to-day basis with some of the stresses related to, on a personal level I'm talking about, you know, when you know, you have your highs and lows of racing here and highs and lows of life. And
of course.
How do you cope by yourself and with your family? How do you all like work through that on a personal level?
Yeah, that's a good question, Fen, because, you know, it's tough over here. You know, it's not like other countries where you can have 150, 200, 300 horses. You're restricted by your numbers. You're restricted by the class bracket that they're in. If they're not performing, you know, they've got to drop to a mark where they can perform. If you've had a good season the season before, they're up that 20, 25, 30 points, and it's tough the next year, so they've got to come back down. So you're in that situation where it becomes a bit of a balancing act to try and cull out the right type of horses that are on the way out, the older horses, problematic horses, and bring in the fresh blood, which can hopefully come in and compete and do well, you know. But sort of in answering the stress level, of course there's stress involved, you know, when things aren't going well, because, you know, people expect so much from you, you know, because you performed so well for so many years, you know. I've been in the top 4 for most of my career, you know, so if you get down to 6th or 7th, they're like, what's going on? But, you know, sometimes it is what it is. You know, you can't. You've got problems. These things don't work out. Horses don't come up to where you think they are. You know, they need time. But luckily, I've built a very good client base where I've taught them to understand what racing is about and explain to them that sometimes it's not like a car. You can't just get into it and press the accelerator and go. It doesn't work like that. You know, the horses are coming into a new environment. They're adjusting to the environment. The bone density is, you know, they're copping a lot of pressure on their legs. You know, they've got to adjust into here. It takes time. You know, some horses come in, boom, straight away. They get up and get the job done. And some take a season, and then the following season you reap the rewards that you missed the year before, you know. But hopefully you can still hold on to those horses for that time to get the result, you know. It's a challenge because you're paying big money for horses overseas now. And I understand, you know, owners are expecting results, and my job is to try and get that. And sometimes we do, and well, most of the time we do, but sometimes, you know.
And how do you teach your children to ride that down period? Because Ronan's in the game, and obviously, I mean, when you hit that low, which all the trainers here have hit.
Of course.
When you hit that low, how do you keep yourself motivated, uplifted, keep the staff motivated and going? Like, how do you teach your sons to say, hey, okay, you know what, this is how you've got to ride it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Not everything's plain sailing and smooth.
True.
You know, we learn that from a young age that, you know, you're going to get the knocks, and you've got to just toughen up, man up, and say, right, it is. Let's get on.
It is what it is. And
it is what it is, and get on with it, you know.
Well said, yeah.
Yeah, but the boys, like, I mean, they see me. Obviously, sometimes I get down, and, you know, you show your true emotions when you're with the people you love.
Of course.
But
because you're human, you're not some sort of,
that makes you
robot.
A better man. It makes you a better person. You know, you learn, and it toughens you up, and you realize who your friends are in those periods. I tell you what, in this place, it's a wake-up call sometimes. You realize who's on your side and who is just fickle, and you know, they're just there when you're flying, you know. That's all right. I keep a
little note.
I keep a little note of everyone's behavior, you know, because the one thing about me is I will always bounce back.
Yeah.
That I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
You can knock me down wherever you want, but
you'll always come back up.
I will come back, and I will hold the mantle again. I'll be champion. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
That's amazing.
I've won it 4 times. And I will continue to strive to get at least another 1 or 2 championships before I retire. So it'll be good.
That's amazing. Do you have any sort of deadline in terms of retirement? Have you sort of talked with the family about, hey, 10 years, 15 years? Like,
who
what
knows? You know, I've just turned 56 a couple of days ago. Yeah, not bad, not bad. No grey hairs, so it's all right.
Yeah, okay.
But, you know, look, how long do you want to work?
That's
the key. You know, you've got to strike that balance where the next generation, the boys come and take over and do their job, and you know, I'll work to where I'm very happy and comfortable and feel I've left a mark on Hong Kong racing, and you know.
So if that's 5 years, it's 5 years. If
exactly.
15 is 15.
Well,
there's no time frame on
I
it.
can't see myself training till I'm 70, to tell you the truth. I don't want to be that guy. I really don't.
No. You want to enjoy life.
I want to enjoy life, and you know, but. Yeah, let's see. Hopefully things will change in Hong Kong, you know, with the way, you know, you bring the kids through the system.
Right.
They're quite restricted with what we can and cannot do here, which is a little bit of a nightmare, really. It's frustrating because the whole world is encouraging you to bring your next generation and the kids. Like, I mean, my dad brought me along, and we did it tough, you know.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
We had so many barriers up for us, for me, and it was like, Jesus, like, you know.
Because that was a very
pushing you down all the time.
It was a very stressful time for you and Dad and the family, because I remember you were in line to get your license, and they gave it to somebody else. I remember what an emotional impact that had on our family, especially Dad and you. Like, it was just your whole. It's like your life changed in that one decision. In that moment, right?
It changed everything. I mean, I'd be. Owning a house right next to Tony Cruz if they'd given me the go-ahead a few months earlier, and I may not have been training right now. But you know, yeah, I mean, it was tough to take.
Yeah, that was a really tough time.
But you know, it's well documented what Dad did, and you know, he knew I could train, and he felt I was really hard done by, and
you had a lot of owners support you through that. I remember that.
Well, you know, at the time we had. I think it was 46 horses, and 45, you know, stayed with me.
That's
so
huge.
You know, it was huge, you know. That doesn't happen. So the support was there. The owners were way behind me. They backed me up. They themselves took it into their hands as well.
Absolutely. Russi Schroff, Mr. Russi Schroff, I know.
Many people wrote into the club and said it was wrong. But, you know, obviously, there was a chance of that third license coming up. I mean, David Ferraris and Danny Shum got the 2 licenses ahead of me. But then I got the trump card, you know, which was nice when Chapelheim didn't make it, and the third license went my way, and it's been good.
The rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. You know, at the time, it's tough. It's tough to take many things when they hit you at that particular time. But the good thing about life is you learn to move on.
You do, and you learn to take the
toughen up, and you
absolutely
man up.
Absolutely, and you've been. I know you don't like to talk about this very much, and we haven't actually talked about it at all for many, many years. And the reason I want to talk about it is more for the younger generation that don't know your history in terms of the stabbing that happened to you many, many years ago. Can you touch on that briefly as to how that impacted you as a person? And
Yeah, well, you know, I was coming back after having lunch with Alex. She was working at the hotel, and I was driving back on my way to go to stables, and these guys just banged into the back of my car, just coming up the ramp, just coming.
Did you notice them following you?
Yeah, I just noticed them behind me, just probably about a mile further back, you know, and then they come right behind me and hit the back of the car, and which was already we are at the ramp. So I got out. I'm like, what? A traffic accident? And these 3 guys get out and pull a knife, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So straight away it was on, you know. I hit the first guy who came at me with a knife, and then the other 2 chased, and they grabbed me, and then they set about me. Got me in the chin here.
Almost severed your
hand, yeah, went
artery.
right through my thigh. As you know, it was 0.2 mm off my femoral artery, which would have bled out for sure, that's for sure, because the doctor said, you know, he says, you're very lucky. He says, if that had been just literally, he says, 1.5 mm, he says, you're gone. You're bled, you know, you bleed to death. So it was just a bunch of guys that, as it turned out, they had like 50,000 capital, and they thought they'd kidnap me and make 30 million. They were following another Chinese trainer's son at the time, but then he always had people with him, and I was by myself. So they said, oh, this is an easier target, you know.
Wow.
Dad was doing well at the time, so they said, oh, we'll grab him. And
how did you escape from that? Because I remember Suzanne saying that.
Yeah, like I said, you know, you fight, you know, and managed to get away at the top of the road. A car drove past, and I said, well, I'm saved here. And the guy just drove. He never stopped.
No.
Yeah, unbelievable. And the next guy, I just managed to jump on the front of it, and I bust my knee and stuff. And these guys regrouped, and you know, they got together. And so I remember the car number and everything. And
wow.
You know, I still remember, it's clear in my head, as clear as day. And gave the information to the police, and they grabbed the guys literally within a matter of hours, you know, because it was...
But how did you remember that in the middle of all that trauma, to remember the license plate?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, just the things you do, you know. It's...
well, I'm sorry to bring it up, but
no,
I just
it's fine.
I wanted to just sort of...
It's, you know, you drive past it every single day of your life, you know,
and you had to
take
also...
something good from it. You're blessed, you know. You're blessed, because I lost a lot of blood. I had over 60 stitches, you know, put into me, and just very lucky. So it's just one of these things that happen.
And did you ever you had to face them? I think.
Yeah, it was again incredible, because you know they managed to get 2 of the guys. The third guy left Hong Kong to go into China, and like 7 years later he came back, and then the cops called me and they said, "Look, Mr. Fownes, can you come to the police station? We feel we've got the 3rd suspect. Can you come and identify him?" I said, "Look, it's been 7 years, you know."
Oh.
I said, "Yeah, sure." So I went down to, it was Kowloon City, and it's a funny system in Hong Kong with the identification parade. It's not like the US where you've got
stand behind
the mirror,
glass.
you know.
Yeah.
Over here, there's 10 guys standing. You walk into the room.
Like right in front of you?
They're like that. There's 10 of them standing. You go, and they're all look similar.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you go through each one, and you know, I just stood in front of this guy, and it all came back to me, and I went to the police. I said, "This is the guy," and
yeah, because they
said,
make
"Can
them
you
all
sign something?" You sign something, and then they didn't say anything. You go outside the room. They said,
then they get him.
You
got the right guy. So that's why they put them all so they look similar, to make sure you get the exact right guy.
Yeah, because then they give probably the guy a chance to whatever, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was amazing. It's incredible how the body reacts, and you know, like for me, when I was being stabbed, I'm fighting for my life, you know. You know, it's incredible how you can take on 3 people and still get away with it.
And strong people too,
Yeah.
with knives. So it's not
So,
like...
yeah, just lucky.
And have you had any sort of post-trauma in the leg?
Oh,
or
I had a
anything?
lot of issues with it early on because of the nerves, you know, with feeling and stuff like that. But now I'm good.
Nothing anyway.
Now I'm fine.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Does that ever worry you about your boys? Like, do you ever think that, does that ever cross your mind? Like,
Well, it
what if?
changed a lot of things from the jockey club's perspective as well. There was no security in those days, you know.
I
There was
remember,
nothing over
yeah.
here. And from then it started to get, okay, security. They started to do this, started to do that. It was a bit of a wake-up call because things can happen in Hong Kong, you know. You're a high profile. At that time, I was only a young little trainer's assistant, you know, but yeah, I think it's a pretty safe city now, Hong Kong.
It is.
Yeah.
It always has been.
It always has been.
It
Like, I
always
mean,
has
you can
been.
always go to any place, 10, 11, 12 at night, you know, have some food, you know, in Mongkok, Hung Hom,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. No one cares. They're really good. So it's just one of those unfortunate things that happens, and I've moved on, and it's an experience.
It's amazing. Well, I just want to thank you. I wanted to just chat a little bit more on the personal level. So if you don't mind, we can kind of step out and just talk a bit about
Yeah.
your accomplishments in horse racing. And I don't
Sure.
want to keep you too long, but it's just great being back here with you.
You
and
look good.
seeing
You look good.
again.
I won't give you a age yet, but you look very good, sis.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Give me a hug.
Yeah, love you.
Love you too.
He's very involved in that space, you know, so it's easy enough.
Hi guys, I'm here with Ronan Fownes, my nephew, and hopefully future trainer in Hong Kong. So I'm just going to have a little conversation with Ronan. Hi Ronan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you after 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, and you're looking great, by the way. and
Thank you.
Fit and ready to go. So tell me a little bit about your journey into becoming, or hoping to become, a trainer in Hong Kong. Where did you start, and what sort of kept you motivated and sticking with it?
Well, it helps that both my grandparents were trainers in Hong Kong, and just coming from a racing background, kind of, you know, watching the races whenever they're on the TV, cheering for Dad whenever he had a runner in the race or a winner. So just, you know, having that surrounding us.
Yeah, so having that, growing up with that in your life was something that just sort of stuck with you. It's something that you just felt drawn to.
Yeah, I think because we're always surrounded by it, it just it stayed on our minds, and obviously Dad would let us come to the stables with him and see his horses and spend time with them.
Yeah.
The same thing with your dad, my pop,
Yeah.
Laurie. So we were always quite involved in that sort of sense, just being able to support Dad. But probably when I was 15, I made a decision that I was going to at least do some time working with Dad and see what it was like, you know, getting my hands dirty and stuff like that. Just sticking with him.
That's amazing. So at 15, you kind of knew like nothing else really mattered. This was it for you. This is where you wanted
Well,
to
yeah, I never really had too much interest in school.
go. Yeah, it's part of our family thing,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, but I really enjoyed spending time with horses. It's especially, you know, now I've realized how rewarding it is. It's a stressful scenario being in the racing world. You know, there's the ups and downs about it, but one thing's for certain is that the horses are going to be there, you know, always to kind of
Sort of ground you in a way.
Yeah.
Sort of bring you back down and say like, this is, hey, we're having a rough time, but this is really where we belong. And you have a love for the horses as well. It's not just about the sport or the game. It's something that you genuinely care about. Like it's, you know, it's and I think that's sort of something that's been passed down to us, I think, as a family as well, is that, you know, we can love these animals, and you're sort of hoping to make a career in that.
Yeah, well,
moving
you
forward.
learn to appreciate them so much. They give you their heart and soul, you know. They give you everything they have. So how can't you love them?
Absolutely. You're currently working and assisting Dad.
Yeah.
And you show up and you work every day.
Yep.
In different areas and you know, managing stuff on a personal level as well for Dad. How is that working out for you, and would you like more of a prominent role in currently what you're doing?
Yeah, so it's great. It's been great to be able to work with him and so close to him. We've always had a really good connection, so there's a lot of trust involved in what we do, and I don't need to trust him. You know, he's
Absolutely.
he's amazing, but to have him, you know, have some trust in me was great.
So basically, moving forward, like in terms of eventually training in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
sort of what path have you set forward, either going overseas to learn, or what is it that you would like to see happen in your life as a career here in Hong Kong?
Well, hopefully in the next couple of years there can be a bit more of leniency towards my role here. I've been here with Dad for the last 4.5, 5 years, straight out of school. So if I could have maybe a more impactful job to do.
So are you planning on going to Australia or the US to learn a little bit more about just the general ways of horse racing and different styles, and like, is that something that you're planning on doing over the next couple of years?
This season I think we have a good chance at being very competitive, so I won't be going anywhere just yet, but hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years I'll be traveling and doing some work experience overseas. I think that will really kind of cement me in this industry, and you're always learning in this industry, and Hong Kong's such a great place to do that, but at the same time it's great to have knowledge from all sorts of different trainers.
Absolutely.
From all sorts of places.
Yeah, and you know, different styles of riding, different forms of training, different you know, different betting. The whole lot is quite different to Hong Kong. So, Ronan, I haven't seen you in 6 years. I just want to tell everybody this because I want to. You look amazing.
Thank you.
And you've been doing a great job with and for Dad. And I wish you really genuinely all the best. And I hope that in a couple of years' time, and that you'll be doing things that you love more on an official basis here in Hong Kong, in the hopes that one day I'll come here as an old lady and see you as a horse trainer, and a successful one in Hong Kong. So
That'd be great.
yeah, it was really nice seeing you. Thanks for coming on. I just wanted to keep this, you know, light and short, and hopefully we'll have many of these conversations moving forward. It's nice to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks.